Okay, everyone, I think we've given everyone enough time to log in, so I think we should get started. So thank you once again for joining on this very sort of momentous occasion. After a year of lockdown, the hospitality sector is finally reopening, and so it's a very timely time to get NBS in to talk to you about the hospitality market, what's gone on during COVID and pre-COVID, and what they can do to obviously advise you around placing in a hard market post-COVID. So on that note, I will pass you over to Julian, who will give you a bit of an introduction to NBS. But just before I do so, I just want to make you all aware that you can ask questions throughout the event. In the top right, you should have a small speech bubble with a question mark in it. If you click that, you can type in any questions. And when we get to the end, I will be doing a Q&A and putting your questions to the team for them to answer. So on that note, I'd like to pass you over to the NBS team, who will talk to you about the hospitality insurance. Over to you guys.
Thanks for that introduction, Peter. A little bit about NBS Underwriting. So NBS are a well-established MGA set up in 2011. We are specialists in niche commercial, high net worth and the non-standard household market. We currently deal with over 800 brokers all around the UK, including Northern Ireland, and we are managing premiums in excess of £45 million. Our quotations are done via a state-of-the-art quote and buy platform, which gives brokers access to 20 products across commercial, SME, property and household, all with A-rated capacity. All of our underwriters can be contacted by phone, email, in-system notes and online chat. The system is a tool for us, but we encourage contact with our underwriters. With regards to capacity, all the capacity that we use is A-rated, as you can see here from the slide. Accelerant Insurance, Hiscox, and most recently Tokyo Marine HCC. ARAG are our legal expenses provider. Cardinus Risk Management handle our surveys, and Sedgwick's handle our claims. This slide's quite interesting. On the left-hand side, you can see the sectors, the hospitality sectors that we currently underwrite. And on the right-hand side, you can see the other specialist schemes we can also provide. My colleague, David Gribben's going to run through the hospitality sector later on, but as you can see from the right-hand side, we're also involved in sports clubs, social clubs, petrol stations, retail, property owners, high net worth, mid net worth, holiday let, and combined liability. The hospitality sector pre-COVID is actually a major part of the UK economy. As you can see from this slide here, in 2019, the sector contributed 59.3 billion in gross value added to the economy, and that equates to around 3% of total UK economic output. So this is a sizable sector. In the 3 months to September 2020, there were 2.38 million jobs in the hospitality sector in the UK, and this represented nearly 7% of all total UK employment. This sector is a heavy employer and touches all our day-to-day lives. Number of stats here from YouGov, so these are government statistics. As you can see from the slide here, the hospitality sector has been very heavily affected. You will all see from the news nightly on your TV how it's been affected. As of late December in 2020, the Office of National Statistics reported that 59% of hospitality businesses were trading, and this compared to 84% across all other industries. 41% of hospitality businesses had temporarily paused trading, and that was compared to 13% across all other industries. The furlough scheme was a big plus for the hospitality sector, and this can be seen by the number of jobs that were on furlough in this sector. So in the food and accommodation sector, this peaked on the 10th of April 2020 with 1.6 million jobs on furlough, and this has been declining ever since. As of early March 2021, the Office of National Statistics reported that 43% of hospitality businesses were trading, and this compared to 74% across all other industries. 55% of hospitality businesses had temporarily paused trading, and that's compared to 24% across all other industries. Almost 1 in 5 hospitality businesses, that's 19%, had low confidence that their business would survive the next 3 months. At this point, I need to mention the NTIA, the Nighttime Industry Association. They worked throughout lockdown, pressing the government over COVID BI claims and also pressing them to open the industry quicker. And just a quick note that whilst pubs, clubs, food risks have been open and closed throughout the various lockdowns we've had, nightclubs have actually been closed since the beginning of lockdown, which is going back to March 2020. So as you can tell from these statistics and the news every night, this sector was heavily affected. I'll now pass on to my colleague David Gribben, who can explain what NBS have done to help our clients and run through the sector for you.
Thanks, Julian. Afternoon, everybody. We're often asked the question at NBS as to how we've responded to the pandemic and the lockdowns, be them locally or nationally. I think it's fair to say our aim's always been to support you and your clients throughout the pandemic in any way we can. We always take on board broker feedback, which we'll touch a little bit on in the slide later on. But I think the most important point for us is that we've always been open for business, as Julian mentioned earlier. The team's always available. There's no generic email addresses. The staff are always fully contactable. We've had a lot of feedback around the market, particularly from our broker partners and beyond, that service in the market has slipped to terrible levels during the pandemic, be it using the pandemic as an excuse from composite insurers or whatever it may be. We always stuck to our service standards pre-pandemic, so we've turned around new business quotes within the same day. We commence the renewal process at least 30 days in advance of renewal, so it gives you the opportunity to engage in discussions with us and your client on any terms or changes that may be applicable to the policy. We've been regular and clear with our communication on the impact of COVID to all the brokers, so anything that's come about, any topical changes, anything that's needed to be discussed, we've been upfront about that and clear. We've also extended our occupied clauses for all the risks throughout the shutdown. We haven't applied any cancellation terms to policies. We recognise that some clients haven't required insurance or haven't been able to pay premiums and may require cancellation mid-term. So for that reason, we haven't applied any terms whatsoever. We've also extended covers where we can for certain trades, which is very important. We've also covered COVID-related claims. So we've actually paid out where claims have occurred at the property force enclosure. And more recently, as a result of the latest openings, which is obviously relevant from today in England, there'll be extended liability cover without charge for hospitality trades who are making the use of pavements or pavement licences in conjunction with their local authority. What we wanted to do, as Julia mentioned earlier, we touched a little bit on our appetite in some of the earlier slides. I just wanted to drill down into that with you, into a bit more detail. So hospitality obviously is a very wide sector in terms of what the definition may be. For us, we cover public houses, so they may be kind of classic wet pubs, so to speak. We also cover gastropubs, where we serve food on the premises, or the client serves food on the premises. Within our restaurant definition, we'll cover chain restaurants as well as high-end Michelin star restaurants, as well as kind of local restaurants or local high street restaurants. Takeaways, we'll cover all manner of different takeaways within the definition of a takeaway. Fish and chip shops included within that. We also cover nightclubs, late night bars, wine bars, live music venues, and gentlemen's clubs as well. And moving into some of the food sectors, cafes and sandwich shops within our hospitality definition, and also some of the accommodation risks, so hotels, guest houses and bed and breakfasts as well within that. So what I wanted to do is just take you over a high overview of some of the covers that are available, both from a standard point of view, a core cover, and also an adjustable cover, which you can add in additional covers to suit the client's needs. So the 9 boxes on the left-hand side of the screen under the definition, under the heading, standard cover, that's what's automatically applicable to the policy from an NBS standpoint. And there are also adjustable covers that you can add in to suit the individual premise. They're all available to really competitive levels in terms of the market and limits that apply. We can also look at kind of slightly higher limits that may be applicable as long as it's within our underwriting authority overall. The outside catering and delivery elements on the bottom of the right hand side, those 2 boxes relate purely to the food risks that we cover, but we are able to consider those types of risks. And on that, I'll pass over to my colleague Ian Chapman.
Thanks for that, David. Good afternoon, everybody. So I wanted to talk this afternoon about the hard market. It's been a long time since the last hard market. So just some ideas, tips and tricks on placing risks, especially hospitality ones, in the market that we're operating within. Target premiums, very important. When rates are increasing and premiums are 25%, 30, 40% up on what they were last year, a target premium to a new insurer is very important, or at the very least what the expiring premium was. We can therefore gauge where to kind of pitch the right rate moving forward. Risks that have had claims become very hard to place in a harder market, with insurers having less appetite to look at those cases. At NBS, we can look at these, but there must be a story around kind of the claims and as much detail as possible. What's happened, what's gone wrong, what has the insured done to fix that problem, what remedial action have they taken. The more detail, the better. And be prepared to have to go to your clients and ask for more information than maybe that you've ever done before. If we have a full claims picture, we can then make a judgment on the likelihood of those incidents happening again and make the call on whether we want to write the risk or not, and what price and terms to set moving forward. A sideline to this, good communication with your insurer partners is very important as well. There's a lot of e-trade activity for sure, but whilst we have a system ourselves, we do like to have that engagement on a broker level, be it via phone, etc., etc. And it's important if you've got a difficult risk to place, pick up the phone, set the scene to an insurance underwriter about talk about your knowledge of the customer and the quirky bits of the risk. Bring that risk to life. The better an underwriter understands the risk, the more likely they are to find a way of writing that business. At NBS, we have regular meetings with our underwriters and brokers, Zoom meetings, and it really does help build the rapport and the relationship, and lots of two-way feedback. It helps us improve our offering, and good communication is vitally important. I'd also recommend a limited market exercise. Pick your insurer partners, understand their exact risk appetite and sweet spots. At NBS, we have a very broad appetite, but we won't do everything. Or in some areas, we'll be, very keen to go the extra mile. Understand where an insurer wants to write business. I'd avoid kind of flooding the market. Don't, if you pick your partners and really home in on that relationship with the underwriter, they're more likely to kind of push the boundaries, build momentum, build books of business, and you'll get the support that you need at the time that you need it. Wordings and cover also very important as well. Do your homework, know your insurer partner wordings inside and out, engage where there might be some flex. At NBS, we often receive requests to tweak some of our cover or our endorsements. For example, recently a broker felt that our 2-metre distance requirement for external waste bins was going to be very restrictive in writing business with that particular broker. They proposed a solution and it worked for us from an underwriting perspective, and we made that change. Final point here, really, system rate. So NBS, we probably auto quote around 20% of the risks that come into us via the system, so no underwriter intervention. But is that rate our best rate? That rate will be determined by the quality of the information that's inputted in the system. So there might be other areas where we can kind of discount a rate for favourable risk features. So therefore, that's the opportunity to have that telephone discussion, and going back to what I said about good communication and that two-way feedback. You know, there might be scope to amend those terms and come up with a better price. Yeah, and that's some of my ideas. I'm sure there are more, but yeah, it's a difficult place, a hard market, but you know, there are ways to navigate through it. So I'm going to hand over to Peter now for our Q&A session.
Brilliant. So thank you very much, guys. Extremely interesting, and obviously for a market that's been so hard hit by the recent situation, it's great that you guys are here to be able to help people navigate those difficult markets. So I just want to obviously remind everyone now that if you do go to the top right, you can put in your questions and I'll put them to the team. But just to start off now, we do have a few here. So would you consider portfolio transfers is the first one? Who would like to take that one?
Yeah, I'll take that one, Peter. Yes, we will consider portfolio transfers. Again, with anything like that, we just ask for as much information as possible. You know, get your claims information there, get your commission sorted, give us an idea of the book that you're looking to bring over to us. Yes, but very happy to have those discussions with brokers.
Brilliant. So thank you for that. So obviously you mentioned claims there. It sort of brings me on to the next question, which is, do you handle claims directly or is it via the insurer? Who would like to take this one?
I'll take that one, Peter. So we do not have delegated claims authority from our insurer partners, but what we do is handle the first notification of loss for our in-house claims team, and then that claims team will work closely with our third-party claims administrators and in conjunction with the capacity providers as well. So we see it as an important part of our offering, and we are invested in supporting that claims process, but we don't have in-house claims authority.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ian. Thank you. So got one more question here for you guys then. So how much authority do you have on the underwriting side? Who would like to take this one?
I'll take that one again.
Back to you, Ian. Back to you.
So we do have sort of binding authority with a number of insurer partners, and some of those partners, it's been quite a long-standing relationship and secure capacity for a decent period of time moving forward as well. We have quite an amount of authority under the binding arrangement to make decisions for ourselves and for the benefit of our broker partners. For example, we can write up to £10 million MDBI exposure on most of our sort of commercial product lines. Yeah, we do have a lot of flexibility to operate within the binder parameters, and we do live and die by the decisions that we make on under that binding arrangement. But we've built up a very good relationship with our binder carriers. We've invested in our underwriting team over the last 12 months. There's a lot of experience there. So whilst we have our system, there is an extensive team of underwriters that sits behind that, yeah, and have the authority to act as if we were the direct insurer ourselves.
Brilliant, thank you. And I think that's answered all the questions that have been put in there. But obviously, you know, if you guys do have any other further questions for the team, sort of just on the next slide, if we can do it, you do have the guys' contact details there. Do feel free to send any of the NBS team follow-up questions, emails, anything else like that. Oh, another question's come through here, sorry. ELPL limits. Also, do you write lead follow lines?
I'll take that one. So yeah, it's a 10 million EL limit, 5 million PL. We do not, or we're not involved in any scheduling of capacity limits. The limit is the limit that we can offer. We don't, yeah, we're the sole MGA, if that's the right way to phrase it. So.
Brilliant, thank you. Hopefully that's answered that. So again, if there are any questions, I will jump back to them, but I think for now that is everything. Oh, here is another one. Can you accommodate unoccupied property portfolios? Who would like to take that one?
Yeah, I'm happy to look at that again. Sort of,
keep diving in.
Can you tell I'm the underwriting person on this webinar? So we can write elements of unoccupied risks. We on the commercial side, it would have to be an incidental part of a portfolio. And if the unoccupied building had been vacant for quite some time, and I'm talking, you know, a year, 18 months, you know, prior to pandemic time, you know, then it's probably not going to be one for us. If it's short-term unoccupancy in the commercial space, then absolutely we can look at that, but we'd need to determine what the plans were for that property moving forward, the state of repair, etc., etc. It's not the intention to write long-term unoccupancy. Slightly different on our home insurance, within our home insurance team and our residential property owners offering there, but yeah, we can provide some more information on that via my colleague Robert and his team if there is interest in that type of thing moving forward.
Brilliant. Good underwriting answer there, Ian. You can if it's the right risk. Brilliant. Okay, guys, well, I don't see any more questions coming through at the moment, so I think we will draw a line under it there. As I said, if you do want to get hold of any of the guys, their emails are on the screen now. That said, obviously, if you do want to log into the Insurercore platform, on there you can find all of NBS's appetite across all their product lines, all their team members and how to contact them, etc. And also allows you to stay up to date with what they're doing and see their real-time appetite. So I do advise you to log in and check them out. Brilliant. But on that note, I think I will just say thank you very much to the NBS team. That's a really interesting and obviously very topical conversation to have at this time of the year. And would like to say thank you all and wish you all a very happy first day back into the pubs, even if it is just the garden. Thank you to NBS.